Hello everyone, in this video we will discuss about GraphQL. So what is GraphQL? GraphQL is a query language that we use alternative to REST API. GraphQL is not a module or any new language or package, it is just a query language. I am on the official website of GraphQL that says that GraphQL is a query language for APIs. It has large number of new features that REST API doesn't. For example, it allows the client to select the data from its API. This animation on GraphQL website show all about what GraphQL is. This is my client that is requesting the data and this is my server that is returning the data. So this is the name of my query. In GraphQL we have to name our query. Like I am requesting a query with name and requesting the API to return only the name of my hero to me. Now let's move to the slides part to see GraphQL more in detail. So the GraphQL is designed by Facebook and it is a query language for our API. In GraphQL, we need to design our own data. GraphQL is a communication pattern that transfers data between client and server, and it sits between our client and our backend services. I have this image that show what GraphQL is. These are all my GraphQL clients and this is my API that is my server, and GraphQL sits between the client and the backend services. GraphQL has a large number of new features, like it enables a client to call only a single endpoint for many requests. Like we don't need to write large number of endpoints like we write in REST API. We just need a single endpoint that is /GraphQL, and this endpoint does all our functionality for us. So the key points for GraphQL is application using GraphQL are fast and stable because they control the data, not the server, as I have already mentioned. GraphQL is the smarter REST API. Like the client decides what data he needs, so it is a smarter REST API. With GraphQL, you get the data what you accept. The next point says that it gives the client the power to ask for what they need and nothing more. In REST API, the client sometimes may get the overfetching and underfetching. Sometimes he or she get the more data than he required, or sometimes he get the less data than is required. But in GraphQL, that is not the case. In GraphQL, we would get the data that we need only. It provides a complete and understandable description of your API. So this is how the GraphQL query looks like. We have to name our query, that is our mutation and query here. I will explain what the query and mutation is in my upcoming videos. After that, we have to name our queries. Like here I am naming it is get user query, and this is the query name, that is user, and I am asking the GraphQL to return the first name, last name and email. It may have some more fields in the backend, but I am only need these fields, and as you can see in the result, it only provides me these fields in the result. Before moving further in slides, let me show you the real-time example of how the GraphQL projects or application looks like that I have already created. So this is the GraphQL query that I have already created. So I have to pass the name of my query, that is get recipes, and we can also pass the variables in it. Like I am passing that I need 10 recipes. So this is where the power of GraphQL comes. Like here it is returning ID, name, description created as thumbs up and thumbs down. At this point, the GraphQL result is same as REST API result, but here the power of GraphQL comes. Like I am selecting all the fields that I need, ID, name, description created as thumbs up and thumbs down. But in GraphQL, I can also select some of the fields. That for example, I need all the recipes, ID and the names. I have to click on get our recipes, and you can see it is returning only the ID and the name of my recipes. What if I only need the ID? It is returning me the ID. What if I only need the description? And it return me ID and description of the recipes. So this is how the GraphQL query or project looks like. So let's move back to the slides. So some of the benefits that GraphQL provides us are that we can select selective information from our endpoint, as you have already seen. Client application can call the single endpoint for any type of data. Always get the predictable data. As you can see, if I need ID and description, the GraphQL query provides me only the ID and description. So we are getting the predictable data. Makes it easier to develop gradually APIs over time. Apps using GraphQL are fast and stable because they control the data they get, not the server. So the features of GraphQL there are three main things in GraphQL. Queries are used to request the data. It is analogous to the GET request in REST API. Mutations are used to manipulate the data, like we have to update, delete, or create the new data. So we have to name our query as mutation. And third one is subscription, that rarely used. So subscription are used to get real-time updates within the application. So these are three main things that GraphQL have. If you want to study some more about GraphQL, you need to go to the GraphQL official website, that is graphql.org, and it provides with very helpful information about GraphQL. You can also go to codes screen that provide you code in various different languages. So this is just a brief overview of GraphQL and its advantages, disadvantages, and some other stuffs. Hopefully you like it. Thank you very much.